With the new project I'm working on now, I'm not going to have time to really clean this up and do the maintenance on this fish room for you guys before. So you guys are going to get the dirty tour. Hello world, hope you guys are doing good. If not, as always, I hope it gets better for you. So it's been a while. You guys been wanting it. Here it is. We're going to go through all the aquariums. Full on LRB fish room tour. Now, a lot has changed, but at the same time, a lot has stayed the same. You guys can see there, I've got the wall covered in. But I'm going to give you guys the dirty fish room tour. So I haven't done maintenance in here for a long time and or water changes. Now, a couple have, like I recently did a water change in here for cyanobacteria that was starting. I had treated it, but I had put a bunch of fish in there. You're going to see that here soon. But this fish room tour is not just going to be a show and tell. Like I was talking about with that tank, I'm going to talk about certain things, and hopefully you guys will be able to learn a lot from this tour. Now, there is a lot to talk about with what I'm doing here and with aquariums and how I try to make it easier for people. Now, not all my tanks are the prettiest, but for me, they're functional, especially when you have hundreds that you got to take care of yourself. I have been doing YouTube for a really long time now and have been on the frontier of doing natural aquariums. And if you listen in here, it's actually super quiet because I have went full throttle with no filter and letting Mother Nature take care of my aquariums for me. Now, I'm not saying filters are bad. Everybody's got their different ways of keeping aquariums. And that's the beauty part about this hobby, is there's a lot of ways to do it. So when I say you're going to learn things, you're going to learn things that are coming from somebody with experience that has done it like no other. And that's not to brag, that's just the facts. So I must document what I'm doing to share with you guys because I would hate to do it all in vain. So starting off, I have named my sections out. For instance, this is the Guppy endler section. Here's what I call the rainbow section. Now, they were supposed to be just these, but you know, collectoritis, things change, and you guys will see what's actually really in these because it's not just rainbow fish. This one is mostly just guppies. There's something else in there. But this is my shrimp section. Back against that wall is 80 20-gallon longs. That's my fry section, grow out section. Here I have a new setup, which will probably be my Killifish and just experimental area slash endler projects, stuff like that. Just little projects I want to work on, and the axolotls will be over there. And then back behind this wall and this wall is what I consider the lab, because that's kind of like the experimental area too, but now it's turned into this. Eventually this wall is going to be gone, and I want racks down the wall because I need more tanks, and that's the space for more tanks. But up there is storage, which I have to find somewhere to put all that at some point. And you like my makeshift curtain there. But then over here we got the cichlid section is what I call it. The 40s were going to be mostly for plants, also do some breeding, but this was going to be cichlids. But I just don't have enough tanks. I want to keep my cichlids, but I also want to turn these into like fish going out because I need to organize things here because I still am a business, but I am a hobbyist. Everything we have here is all homebred, and what we offer is all homebred. We do not import, so it takes time to grow things out, and there's so many different species and things that we try to keep and collect. I need somewhere to like organize things. So when it comes to keeping all these aquariums, it's all about organization. So saying that, trying to keep on to certain fish sometimes can be a struggle when you do not have enough aquariums to do what you really should be doing and need to be doing. So by changing out this area and tearing down this wall and storage spot, I'll be able to add more compartmentalized racks that will organize my future a lot better. and be able to keep all my cichlids, which are mostly Tanzanians. Now I do have more aquariums outside as well as aquariums in our bedroom. We gotta have a quarantine area. We've got a triple paludarium in the living room. Our son's got some cool no filter fish, and then also gotta try the house plants in aquariums. Plus, guest bedroom, can't leave that out. And some ponds. And some tubs out here. But I'm working on a project here with these posts. Those who have been following me for a long time and have already subscribed, and I know half of you don't even subscribe, would love to get your subscription because I've been trying to get to 100K at least for a long time. But make me feel like I've been more successful and a better YouTuber than, not. But anyways, this area is going to go all the way around. You can see a full video of me talking about it. It would scale up my outdoor productivity by 3 times, if not more. And by getting this to this position and get my racks built over here, the grind time and availability of what I do offer will be increased by a lot, because just the way that things need to be organized, because there's a lot of genetics and stuff that I'm just hanging on to, because there's a lot of genetics that come and go out of the hobby, and I don't know, I would like to have this place to conserve a lot of those. I am a hoarder and I do hold a lot of lines and fish, but that's mostly because I have to, because if I don't, there's a chance, things happen, people lose them, time happens, people forget about them. So I would like to have this more of a base for that. But anyways, enough rambling. Let's get into it. And let's start off with the endler section. We'll work our way down and around. And if you notice at the top of the racks, we actually got a bunch of house plants as well. But that's almost a whole video in itself. But we're going to stick with the aquariums here for today. Now, starting off the bat, we got these beautiful purple mosaic Dumbo guppies, which I've got a lot of females left, not many males. That's why you haven't seen them offered. I did offer them at a event not long ago, which they sold like hotcakes. I am working a few different lines. Now, my water is a little soft for guppy breeding, but I do still get quite a bit of breeding out of them. But I've got 3 tanks here at the top that are just those purple Dumbo mosaic guppies. And next to them, I've got these red-chested endlers, which they don't really have much of a name, I guess. Or these actually might be the these might be the Anna Maries, actually. I don't remember. You guys know, is that an Anna Marie? And next to them, I have the wild black bar. Light just came on. Almost like filming them without the light because I get a lot more of the sheen. And then we got the split tails next to them. Like some of these I'm going to run and gun. Those actually throw out the albino split tails. But you can see the substrate. Look at the substrate. People would freak out over that. Oh my god. That's what it really looks like. All wild and stuff. And then up underneath them from the other side, we got another tank to back up those split tails. And next to them, we got the rainbow tiger endlers. A couple tanks of them. On down the line, we got some more split tails. Different kind of color. And next to them, we've got the El Silverado endlers. They've got lots of babies all the time. And another colony of them. And down below them, we have some lime green endlers. So they're like the wild black bars, but a lot more green. And the substrate in here is wild. I actually let a lot of the other organics like wood, roots, and stuff in there. And over the years, it's broken down into this dirt. So this was sand, But then you can see like the striations of all the different root material that's still there. It has created this nice dirt top layer, topsoil. And then we've got the these are the koi black and red guppies next to them, and then we've got the wild betta unimaculata. Let's see if I can get their tank's a little dirty. I haven't cleaned the glass. Sorry, just didn't have time. I've got to get this video for you guys. But there was a pair in here, and they had bred out, and then now there's like a whole colony of these betta unimaculatatas. Which is a wild betta. They're F1s. Actually, I need to get in here and get them out and get them into grooves because they are pretty big. And you know, a 20 long is not the biggest environment for them. I got to keep the water level low so they don't jump. Because the original male did end up jumping out. So I was just left with all the babies and the mama. But once again, that's one of those things that happen. Like, I wasn't planning on breeding these bettas, but now, you know, I'm pretty successful with them and would like to keep more of them, but once again, don't have enough tanks. So I've got to work on getting more tanks in here. And then next to them, I've got 2 more tanks of the wild, or of the lime green endlers. There's not a whole lot of them in there, just for the fact I had picked out of them not long ago. And then next to them, I got the blue star, the starburst, whatever you want to call them. Bunch of those. And then underneath, the same thing, more blue stars, a bunch of those. And then next to those, we've got the Rainbow Tiger 2.0s, which these are Rainbow Tiger Endler and Albino Galaxy Guppy mix, which I don't know where all the males are. There's some back there, but I took the best of what I had and moved them into another tank that you're going to see because I'm trying to refine them even more. And you can see they actually throw albinos too, which is another project you'll see I've been working on. And then next to their tank is a bunch of their babies, Rainbow Tiger 2.0s, which are, you know, getting pretty grown up. Probably about ready. And then we've got an empty tank, believe it or not, right next to them. Did house Jesus Marie Livebearers, which you guys will see those here in a little bit. So there's the first rack of that section, and these are all 20 longs. 20 longs and 10 gallons are the only ones that I could get up 4 high without it being too high to really be able to feed. So starting from the top up here, we've got the Pingu guppies, which these have pink, blue, and yellow. Very beautiful fish. Now, if the lights weren't off, these colors would be shining a lot more because the light is actually behind them more than it is in front of them. Very beautiful fish. You can see the long dorsal fin. Nice species there. Nice specimen there. I've got 2 tanks of those, and you'll notice I've got 2 or 3 tanks of a lot of different things. I think these are the red dragon blood mosaic Dumbo guppies. A whole brood of those. Then next to them, I've got the Dalmatian, all other color, spotted magical guppies. One of my all-time favorites. When they shimmer, they really shine. And they get this real nice sheen. Once again, if that light was not on, it would really be glowing. And underneath them, and I absolutely love this fern that has been growing down and into that tank. Really cool. But underneath them, we've got, it was a cull from the all other color guppies, which I need to add him into a mix because he does have some wild genetics to him. See how that tail is? A bit different, and he's got the Dumbo ears. But next to them, I've got the white lace guppies. Once again, another beautiful, beautiful strain of guppies. I need to turn this light off. Now the problem is getting the focus and getting that glare. Come on. But there, you can really see the sheen coming out on that guppy. The white lace, they do tend to pick at each other's tail quite often. Oh, and here's those Dalmatian, all of the colors with the light off. You get like this iridescent red and blue within that tail that shimmers. Really cool. Next to the white lace, which I've got the other white lace in the house, which you guys will see those tanks as well. This is the red snakeskin guppy, albino. And next to them, we've got more of the pingus. See that sheen on them a lot better, that pink coming out. Very colorful guppy. There we go. Beautiful. Now you're showing off. And then under them, you notice we're kind of zigzagging here. We got more of the red snakeskin. We've got, I think, 2 more colonies. And then, oh, I do got the other white lace. I do got another tank of white lace in here. A lot of them in here. So there's a lot of babies in there I need to collect as well. And sometimes I just don't have places to put them. Once again, why? Never enough tanks. And then another colony of pingus. Nice beautiful philander in here. A lot of these tanks have guppy grass in them for the meantime. Underneath is a little Daphnia tank. I was trying to breed albinos in here, and yes, a little guppy got into my Daphnia tank and pretty much took over it. But next to them, I've got the blue guppies. 2 groups of them. Which these were IFGA stock. So there is the guppy section. And yes, you'll notice a lot of algae in my tanks, and that's mostly because I don't do much for water changes. And these tanks get light from that stand, and this stand gets lights from that. And a lot of it gets kind of overlit. Which brings me to these green water lovely beasts. But we will start from the bottom this time and work our way up. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful mass of Luigia archaeota in this tank. And looks like there's a CPD in there. Fat CPDs. God, those are chunkers. So they're in there, couldn't get them out. And I've also got this beautiful, beautiful bunch of parva crypt, which I know doesn't look like parva because it's so big, but it is, believe it or not. I forgot. These aren't CPDs. These are Eisenai San Marcos. The Dadrio Livebearer. I think there's some CPDs in there somewhere as well, though. I think the first one was a CPD because that's what this breeding basket was. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some in there. And then next to them, I've got this colony that have been in here for quite some time. Started off with a pair. Ended up becoming a colony of these Chilnothernia Pagai Village rainbow fish. These guys, some of them are getting to age. Getting pretty big. But I'll just pull babies off the top of their tank every once in a while. Which will give me a nice little stock of them. It's loaded with Brazilian pennywort. Really neat tank. So nothing's painted on the bottom. It's all on top. And what's really wild about this tank is if you see here, there's mulm just on the corners. In the middle, they kind of keep it all kicked over to the side. But you can see how deep that mulm is. That's all new dirt from here to there. This is all new dirt from things that I have broken down from the top here and turned into detritus, which turned into new dirt. Circle of life. And this is what I consider my rainbow fish section, which above the two big green beasts is where I do have some rainbows. So in here is the Melanitania Cernurgo's rainbow fish. I know you can't see much of them. I do got a cleaner tank where you guys will see them here soon. And then a huge mat of nuri crib. So it used to not be so green, but whenever I leave my door open and let the sun in, it just instantly goes that direction. And next to them in the deeper green used to be my Taiwan lily tank. And then I think I just pulled out of it too much and just started becoming a green water tank. Now I've got these swamp picta guppies in there, which I've had these things for quite some time now, but I think my water is too soft to really breed them in. They don't really multiply like they should. I mean, they've got the space, they've got the availability and the food. But my water is 170 TDS, so it's slightly acidic. It does have quite a bit of mineralization in it, but it's still on the softer side. Anything at 200 is neutral. So I'm going to probably take these pictas out of here, put Daphnia in there, let them clear and clean it out, and then I don't know what I'm going to put in there. And then above them, I've got those red-tailed Dalmatian mollies. If you guys been following my channel for quite some time, know I've been keeping these outside. They always get so shy. Anytime I try to film them in here, they're so camera shy. I don't know if they pick something up from the camera. Here, you can see some babies up there. They're not as shy. But I haven't fed anybody yet, so they should be coming up like, hey, feed me, but you may see them just darting in the back. They do not like to be filmed for nothing. And I have quite a few tanks of these guys. Let's actually try to throw them some food. I gotta jump for that one. Oh, some time, figure it out. Oh, there we go. Didn't take long. Here comes some bigger ones coming out. There's a lion, they're in there. And which as well, I might as well mention before we get too much further in there. I know some of you guys have been asking, how do I do these tanks? How do I start them? I'm actually just using yard dirt. You could use a lot of substrate. A lot of plants don't even need substrate to grow. I use good biological sound water. So, you know, dechlorinated tap water if you don't have it. Mine comes out of a well. That's all I do. I get the aquarium, I get the substrate. I could do it without the substrate, but comfortability, it's all about keeping your fish comfortable. The more comfortable you can keep your fish, the happier and better they will be long term. So people think there's a lot more to it, but it's so simple. It's really just glass water substrate. Yeah, they pretty much ate that up. Dodged. Now usually they are personal. They're just not personal when the camera is out. But next to them, I've got something very, very, very special, especially to me. And something I know you guys will want me to breed out. That I used to have back in the day. This is the Melanitania goldie-eyed Akai rainbow fish. And the glare on my phone just is not doing any justice with the washout of the light and everything. But these guys will get this blue and purple on them. And I can tell you, it's really frustrating trying to get this shot sometime. But I do got a nice group of them going. Super excited to get them breeding. There's actually some CPDs in there too, which, you know, are just a pain to catch. That's why I don't breed them anymore, because when I breed them in the tanks, I have tons of plants. I just can't really get them out. And there's a lot more people breeding them these days. Those are 75 gallons over there. And here in the front, I've got 3 40 gallons. And starting from the bottom here is my other Melanitania Cernurgo tank. So these were the babies from that original group. You guys can actually see that aren't in green water. These will get this gold and blue color. There's some crypt in there. And this isn't like sage. I'm not sure what this plant is. It's not Val. I don't think it's sage. Unless there's like a thin leaf sage. Oh, there we go. Nice colored up male. Somewhat colored up. There's a few of them in there. Really cool little ecosystem aquarium. And then the hair algae, like, I don't stress this stuff because it's so easy to remove. You will see spider webs that get created in here. It's pretty natural in my barn. But holy moly, see if I can get that guy. Oh, don't run away. Don't run away. This is another group of my Rainbow Tiger Endler 2.0, the new hybrid line that I have been working on years for. Also in there with some shrimp. You can see how much color variation is within these guys. That's what's cool about them. Because they do come with all different flavors of genetics, but are still pretty consistent on what they are. And this is actually a super rare crypt right here. This is a bullated Surwak. Really rare. Those are like $50 to $100 crypts. And then up above them is one of my prized possessions for a long time. You guys have been following me for a long time know of are the Glossopus maculosus, where I was the only one holding them for the longest time and trying to get them to breed, get them out there. Now there is a little bit more people keeping them. Still very, very uncommon, and it's a spotted rainbow fish, which is really different for rainbow fish. It's the only spotted one I've ever seen or know of. I get absolutely beautiful colors, these greens, golds. The camera does them absolutely no justice. Like, to see them in real life is completely different. And then a nice group of moss. Now, I know a lot of you guys ask me about moss. I often get hair algae in it, so I don't sell it hardly ever, because I don't like to sell stuff with algae in it. So that does it for the 340s. And then on the back section of the rainbow area, we've got 20 highs, which is actually one of my favorite aquarium sizes. You can see I can only go 3 high compared to 4 high. And when there's not enough tanks, sometimes, you know, the quantity takes over. But over here, starting from the top on the end here, I've got a female albino rainbow tiger endler. But I'm trying to line out just the albinos. I do got a baby up there from just her, which is a good start. Actually, behind me is the males, which you guys will see here soon. Then next to them, oh my god, look at this guy. He's one of my favorites too. Are some goldfish that I have been breeding out. Look at the tail on that one. So you guys will see the parents in my big pond that I had in the middle is where the goldfish parents are, but I've got quite a few tanks of them right now. Then in here you'll see some baby fry. Those are actually rainbow fish. These 20 highs were all supposed to be for rainbow fish breeding. These are Glossopus wanamensis babies. Once again, rare rainbow fish. There's so many rare rainbow fish that I would love to just be able to keep the genetics around. Once again, why I need more tanks. Cato River, Melanitania are in there. They're being really skittish though, and they're probably behind that algae. So, I don't know if we're going to be able to see them, but I do got them in another tank, so we'll see those here coming down the line. More goldfish. Once again, those tricolors are one of my favorites. And so are just these like regular goldies. These guys are cool. Next to them, something I shouldn't be working on, but it is like a red koi guppy, but then they were getting more of these red genetics, and I wanted to see what would happen if I lined them out, or just like what she would breed out. So that's more of a looky-loo tank for me to see what the genetic did for a female guppy. I do that sometimes. This one's empty, ready to go. Next to them, we've got more goldfish. Never expected to be breeding goldfish, but here I am and absolutely loving it. They kind of just bred themselves. And then up underneath them, which we're going to just pretty much do this whole section, these are all Pseudomugule Arutu tanks. So I've got a breeding colony in there. I've got a breeding colony in there. Babies, 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 babies. That one's clear, ready to go for something. But you can see how quickly one species can just take over a space of a rack. Because honestly, if I had 7 to 8 tanks per species, I would be able to produce so much more for you guys, but it's just not that simple. Or well, I need another barn. I need more space. I need more tanks. You guys know, more. But anyways, I am happy with what I got. I'm very blessed and thankful. We've got more of the Cernergos in here, so another tank of them. And these guys are real cool. Hopefully they don't hide out. This is the Melanotania pygmaea. But unfortunately, I think the female may be unfertile. She always looks like she's fat, full of eggs. But I can never get anything to come out of these guys. Now, she did have a swim bladder issue at some point. So I don't know if that maybe made a difference. But man, I wish I had another female because that male is beautiful. Maybe one day I'll get them working again. And then here I've got a Daphnia tank. So Daphnia is like this little tiny crustacean. See if I can get it to focus in. Focus. Not on that. There's not many in here. But it's like a backup culture for when and if I want to reactivate them. Those little things floating around in there, those are Daphnia, which are awesome triggers for fish breeding. Next to them, I've got a crypt tank. Let's see, a Phoenix crypt with some really nice yellow Neocaridina, some of my best ones that I've been trying to line out and work out for a new generation. But there's still a little while till I'll have them available. And then down below them, I've got a colony of dwarf neon rainbow fish. Real nice little Livebearer down there. These guys are personal. Hey, how are you? They're hungry. They never like to miss a meal. A nice group of dwarf neons. And next to them, empty tank, William Orange Albino Rainbow, which he was not nice to his female, and that's why he does not have a pair anymore. So I don't know. I need to find him a new home or either find another one. I'm kind of leery on getting him a new girlfriend because I don't want that to happen again. And then those Arutus empty. So that does it for the rainbow section over there. Let's just jump into the shrimp section. And up front, we've got 40 gallons again, which, you know, I like fish. And once again, don't have enough tanks. So it's not just shrimp in here. We've got a bunch of sailfin shiners, which this is actually a Florida native that I got from legend himself, Bill Shields. And I have been keeping and breeding these for a while. I think they are a Hypernotropus. I don't remember what the other name is. Really neat little minnow-like fish. And then next to them is just my corkscrew val and some Luigia. Once again, I farm out of these tanks, so that's what makes it really hard to make them all showy. Because these are farm tanks, and you know, you won't find many farm tanks that really look like this. Oh, there's one out and about. There's a fancy tiger. Now I know some people keep like the CO2 farm plant tanks now. Those look nice too. Then in here, colony of blue dream shrimp, looking real good with that rare belated Surwack Crip. Now, I should have put some food in here. That would have drawed a lot more of them out into it, but I won't really have time to do this. I'm trying to get this out to you guys, and there's a lot to do. I'm trying to work on that project outside, so I hope you guys appreciate this. And hit the like button. But underneath them, I've got the fire red neocardinas, as well as a bunch of guppy grass with some corkscrew vallisneria underneath. And then next to them, I've actually got trout goodeids. So the ones that I get out of the 125 that are behind me will go in here. Looks like some of those are about ready. Nice bulbitis, and this is actually the rarest crip I have. I've been trying to get to grow out for quite some time, but just have had troubles finding a good spot for it. It's a silver purple queen Ferrugenia crip, which you will not find those anywhere. So there are the 40s on that side, and then in between we've got 20 longs on each side, and everything up top is actually empty and waiting for new lines of shrimp. I just haven't had time to organize because I'm trying to get things built up, and there's only so much time for things. But here are the male albino rainbow tiger endlers. You can see how there's like this bluish greenish one compared to this redder one. So they throw some variations out, really cool. Nothing in the middle of them. There was the blue velvets, wasn't a very good line, so I actually ended up mixing those in with just my coals. Then as well with my snowballs here, is I feed tetracolored tropical granules to pretty much everything. Like that one's still a snowball, but over time they start getting this orange into the line, so I never really sold them much. Next to them in this dirty, filthy tank, and I know it's hard to see here because this is like just full. It's mostly diatoms on the front of this tank, but there's pearlweed, there's reishi, and it is absolutely loaded with tangerine tigers. Just you can't see them. You can kind of see one on the wall. That glass needs to be scraped. Next to them is a tank with tangerine tigers as well. They haven't been as prolific in here with this Eco Complete compared to how they've been with the tank that you just saw that was like old Brightwell. And here at the bottom line of this tank, you can see the shrimp in there, where there is like a clean spot, and that's just all in the glass. Up underneath them, as you notice, you'll notice something here that I have not been working shrimp like I used to be. A lot of people used to really know me for shrimp. This is a orange line that I was trying to work with, but orange lines lately, really hard to find them and like keep good solid orange lines. So still on the hunt for one of those. There were some pandas in here, shadow pandas. I don't know if they still are. The B type still live in my water, but they won't really breed because I think it gets too hot in my fish room for them. And next to them, I got more fire reds, a little bit of moss, but tigers absolutely love my water. These are yellow King Kongs. Tigers, Wasser Tang. Real nice crip back there. You can see they get the headless horseman, yellow King Kongs too. They get that clear head. The light just wants to wash out so much. And you see where a couple of those tanks kind of getting white. Have pulled a lot of that crypt out lately. So the bacteria has kind of been off balance. And then up underneath them, I have more of the tangerine tigers. They're just going crazy in here as well. So if I get that humic substrate with the tigers, they just go gangbusters. Nothing in there. Oh yeah, there's a blue bolt down there. For being a bee, more type of a bee, they just don't breed because of the heat, I think. And then 2 empty. So this rack actually struggles from not getting taken over from fish, which you'll see these 40s on the back of my shrimp rack have actually been taken over by fish because I did have big plans for these to be shrimp tanks, but I'm trying to hang on to certain things, so be it for the meantime. But back here in these 40 gallons, up here I've got some baby dwarf neon rainbow fish because I had to move a tub that had a bunch of pearlweed in it. I knew the eggs were going to be in it, and I didn't want to get rid of it without getting the babies out. So it got this 40 gallon. And then next to them, running into the Lake Tanganyika problem, these were in a tub as well. These are the Cuddle Punctatus dwarf Tanganyika dwarf cichlid. Really cool fish. And they have bred for me a few times. I need more rock in there. I need more like dedicated space for these guys. And underneath them, we got more of those Dalmatian all other color guppies. A whole brood and group of them. These are the ones that were actually outside, so some of my original genetics, you can see that one male that's kind of geriatric, but the females, all of them, just the colors beautiful, full of guppy grass. And then these are more of those Dalmatian Molly red tails, actually mixed with sword tails in here as well. Why? Because I don't know. And then underneath them is some more Dalmatian red tail mollies. I've just been working on the lines for, and then up underneath them as well, more of the red tail Dalmatian mollies. So, which brings us up to the other end, more 20s, 20 longs, nothing up top. Over here on this end, we have my coal shrimp, which, you know, these are mostly Neocaridina. I haven't really looked in here for anything too crazy, but they seem to just be blues, whites, reds. But next to them, nice tank of blue dreams. Also Nuri Crip. Another blue bolt tank, but I don't know if any are still in here. There's a few hanging on, but oh yeah, there's one. He's been here forever since I've even set this up. Once again, they just don't breed. Used to be bees, used to be breeze, did not breed out. These are my tigers, my blonde tigers. They're supposed to be orange-eye blue tigers. There you can see them right in the middle there. It actually throws a lot of blondes. Not the best line, so I haven't really done much with them. They have bred out quite a bit. They've stayed colonized for quite some time. And I've also got the rabbit snails in there, which they've been breeding out nicely considering as acidic as my water is. They take time. This tank's been going for years. Empty tank, may have a couple of blue dreams in it. This one empty, I think maybe a tiger or something in there. Coal shrimp. The one thing about shrimp tanks and why I'm so hesitant of just putting shrimp in a tank real quick is once they get in there, it's hard to get them out because they'll breed, they'll leave babies, and you want shrimp in a tank, make sure you want them in a tank. Then here are my green jades and then my green jade coals. These are more like the light greens, more clear, kind of more yellow into them. And next to them, which I don't really work this line hardly as much as I should, so they probably throw blues. It's really hard to see with the lack of light in here to really call these properly. But I mean, they look pretty decent. ever since I have worked on calling them. And then underneath them is all Blue Dream underneath on this bottom row. Scattered about. So there we have the shrimp section. This is what is the auxiliary section, which probably end up being Killifish, experimental lab, whatever. I don't really have a name for it yet. But we're going to do axolotls in this 125 down here. This is going to be Killifish, and in here there's actually a pair of blue gularis. I hope they'll leave me some eggs here in the rocks, but I'm going to have to move them soon and get them separated and reintroduced, because when you separate them and then bring them in to breed, they actually do a lot better. And then on the back end, we got another 125. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to put in here quite yet, but lots of options. Above them, I've got a little group of glow light Danios, hoping they'll leave me a little something in the rock pile there. We'll see. I probably need to actually lower the water level down and create this more like a shoreline, because they do like to breed in shoreline. So if I drop the water level to about here, I'll probably actually have better luck with them. A really, really neat little Danio fish. I like that tiger striping, a lot of color to them. I see a lot of these in my fish room too. This is a purple and orange endler, which I'm trying to line out and work on. There's also another little group of endlers here that I'm trying to line out and work on too. And I do have a lot of like rare genetics when it comes to endlers and traits. So if you guys do ever get my random endler guppies, you guys will get some really neat stuff. I'm trying to get him in there. There we go. See where he's got like that purple and red? This is like my Picasso endler. All the different colors on that dude. I'd really like to line that up. So I don't know. I think I may dedicate a lot of these tanks to those sort of projects, just like little Daniel projects, little Tetra projects, maybe stuff like that. So that's the newest added rack. As you can see, there's still no light on it yet or plumbing. I got to get to all that. And I actually have a lot more of those endler breeding projects here in my fry rack, which is another reason why I wanted this, because I needed to get it out of my fry and grow out and sell tanks. This is my 80 20-gallon long wall of where I throw a lot of like the babies and like endler projects, as well as a lot of my hodgepodge fish, which I just don't have home for, or even just retirement fish for special needs fish. And since there's some multiples in this rack, we'll just run and gun it, but I'll show you the ones that I haven't yet. So starting at the top, we've just got a lonely bluegrass female. I'm hoping she'll leave me something, because she was really abusive to her mate and had to separate them. And then next to them, I've got a pair of albino galaxy guppies, which is what I mixed the rainbow tiger endlers with a while back. For some reason, they haven't been real prolific here. I don't know if they predate a lot or what their deal is, why they haven't really been breeding much. And next to them, I've got the bluegrass guppy, which up on the reflection, see if you'll get back up there. You see on the reflection of the water, you'll see more of the blue. You don't hardly see any color when the light's behind them. There we go. Turn the light off. Now look at them. Completely different. And glad to see them having a lot of babies. And then next to them, more of the bluegrass. And then next to them, I've got blue tigers, which they haven't been real prolific either. They got more of the tiger kind of like spotted pattern in them. More leopard-like in my opinion than tiger, but they're kind of neat. Then alongside them, we got red kois in here. We can't see them because the tank's dirty, but we can see these guys. Mostly loaded with females though. The females have run amok in here. Same with this tank. It's all red koi guppies. So you can see, although the glass is filthy, the tank is fine. And next to them, empty, empty. And following down, up above, we got another group of pingu guppies. We got this dirty tank of nothing. And then we've got red snakes, albinos, more red snake, albinos. Just trying to line them up. I think there's some, I may have put a few straggler DNR babies in here. I don't know if they're still in there. Or I might have just put that tag on there, and then I think that's where I put them in the other 40 gallon. And it's a Lonely Pagaille Village Rainbow Baby. Unfortunately, do not have another foot with them and can't put them with the others because I want them to get eaten. Random endler group. I've got a lot of these tanks. I've got a real problem with creating random endler groups. Just because of the genetics that I have going on around here. The time it takes to line them up, work them out. Sometimes I bite off more than I can chew, so I'll be like, ooh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend my time doing this. But then don't really have the time to do it. But it's okay because this hobby, the thing about this hobby is it does take time, and over time, I may get some really cool stuff out of those. And then up underneath them, I've got some rainbow fish. So here I've got some of the Clausioensis, which they don't look much but like a black bar rainbow fish right now. But over time, they will look better and get some color for them. As well as more Clausioensis back there. And I've got more of the Cato River next to them. These are all Melanitania species. And as well, more of the Cato River Melanitania species next to them. Now, keeping rainbow fish on white substrate is not the best because they will camouflage and wash themselves out. But next to them, I've got some killifish. We've got the Cichlid, the Fundalo Pancheck Cichlid. Looks like the female's out. I'm not seeing the male here. Probably hiding back there. But in the next two tanks, I have more Cichlid. There's a male. Get a look, maybe. Focus camera. The camera did not want to cooperate quite enough. You guys get a gist. Real colorful fish. Another female over here. So I can mash them in and breed them out if I want to when I'm ready. And then we got more Cato River rainbow fish, which these are not even supposed to be in here. Actually jumped from the tank next to them. And then next to them, I've got more random rainbow fish. I just can't help myself. Or random endler guppies. Look at the tail on that male though. And next to them, I got the white lace guppies. I've got the dwarf neon rainbow fish. A little group of them. Another little group of them. Some of the G-Max. Got a few of them. I should probably sell them. It's just, I like to back up my backups with backups. I don't know, call me crazy, but I do. Empty tank, empty tank, empty tank. And then we've got some rice fish, platinum rice fish. I forgot I had these platinum rice fish in here actually. And that is a Pagaille Village rainbow fish down there. We've got a Placo. I can't remember which Placo that is, but we got one. Black Molly. Kind of like my stragglers. Another Pagaille, dwarf neon, pygmy rainbow fish back there. And up underneath them, I've got some coolie loaches. The black coolie loaches. A couple rainbow fish. I'm not sure which rainbow fish those are. Those might actually be hybrids that shouldn't exist. platies, Pagai Village rainbow fish, Sentiensis. These are cool. I should really need to get these bred. You see a zigzag Montiano rice fish in there, which yeah, rainbow fish been like digging a rut down there. It's kind of wild. And then Sentiensis next to them as well, heading back there. And then a zigzag fish, which you see the guy. Actually, I think he may have finally bit the bullet. This guy was rough for a long time. He's been living a long time. But sometimes you get deformed fish. I like to give them a home. I don't have a heart to cull and kill. And then next to them, we've got the Matano rice fish. A couple stragglers of them. Not many. And then more of goofy platies. The platy line was not the best, so I don't really sell it at all. And then I got more Sentiensis in here somewhere. Oh, there's one back there. Another Sentiensis. And then we've got the Cernurgo babies here, more Melanotania Cernurgos. Next to them, we've got another random endler guppy mix. Same thing here. Empty tank, random endler guppy mix, random endler guppy mix. Self-fin shiners. Those are about ready. Those are looking pretty good. Still kind of small. Actually, I think those are about ready. Besides like the tiny ones. And then these are all empty. And these are all empty on the bottom. Then underneath them, random guppy endler mix, random guppy endler mix, empty, empty. These are red tiger rice fish. They've taken forever to grow in here. Oh, Silverado endlers. Bunch of babies of them. Some tricolor babies of the rice fish, but they look more like red tigers. I think they're just red tigers. And then we've got some more El Silverado endlers and more Cernurgo Melanotania babies going on. And then we've got the Starburst endlers next to them, as well as more Starburst endler babies. I've got a ton of those. And then these are either CPDs or hatchet fish in here somewhere. There's a few babies, but they all hide in the back. I don't think we're going to see them. A couple straggler dwarf neon rainbow fish. And then this tank next to them. Which you see, this is my water change system. Which I have videos for. It just hasn't been working for the longest time. I don't know why the focus of my camera just can't keep up with me. But here are the hybrids. These guys shouldn't exist. I don't know what to do with them. So here they are. I've got another group of them too. Just don't know what they are. They could be something and I just don't even know what they are. So that is that whole rack. And as you can see, things are just like not the best organized. But I do label things. Kind of got to, as much as I believe I will remember things, it is always best to label just in case. Especially when you got a lot of things going in and out. If you notice in my other tanks that I have shown, they don't really have labels because I know what's in them and what's been in them. But the ones that I move more frequently, they get the labels. And I do got to hurry with this because I know everybody's getting hungry. So here's the lap section, the wall section, and some of these tanks actually are better to look from behind. But up above, I've got the dwarf. But up above, I've got the Dockensia acilis mascara barbs. One of my favorite all-time fish. Real cool group of them. Next to them, and the beautiful green water, which goldfish love to make. And clown loaches. Nice chunky clown loaches too. I got a few goldfish in there. Mostly for their genetics, I just wanted something cool. Oh, there's my tricolor in there. He's getting big. You're getting big, little fella. Got that little spot on his head. I love it. And then next to them, I've got more of the Sylphin Shiners. You guys saw them. This is the original breeding tank that I have put them in. Best way for me to breed them is to put them in a tank, then move them to another tank, and then I get babies. And then in here, these are actually 55 gallons. The rest of these are all 75s. But here I've got 50 gallons long ways. This has got a few rice fish in it. This one's empty. It was a Daphnia tank, but the Daphnia tank, I don't know what happened to the Daphnia. They're not in there so much anymore. But underneath them, and it's hard to see in right now, but actually one of my favorite and coolest fish, and that's the reed fish, the rope fish. Can't wait to get these guys a better, cooler tank. Something bigger would be neat. Which, I mean, they're cool in here right now with the marsh of the pearlweed and how they just like go through it. Really neat to watch them. I would love to see them in a bigger tank. Now, I had the rock bottom there in the hopes that they would drop eggs and then get some babies out of them, but so far, no luck on any of that. Then next to them is a tank that I created pretty much for myself just to enjoy. This is a Tetra tank, which I enjoy all these, but these are like fish I know I'm not going to have to I'm not going to go out of my way trying to breed. And I can just watch them. And I absolutely love Tetras. So these are the blushing Tetras. We've got the silver tip Tetras. There's more bronze looking ones. And then the candy cane Tetras that have like the pink and white top fin. And then there's also ghost sharks in here. This is an all algae scape as well. And in here, where is he? There he is. There's also those beautiful blue galars, Fundulopanchax Killifish. That's a super, super rare fish. Real hard to find those. Absolutely love this tank. But next to them, we've got the old barb tank. So you guys have been watching me for quite some time. And I had lost my barbs in here. So many were like, nuke the tank, start over, do all this. Did not do all that. I let nature kind of take its course. I knew it was a fungal issue. It got overfed, and it was very unfortunate. Sometimes when you leave home, other people feed. You don't know how they're feeding, and so things happen. But I've got these goldfish in here now. Since I had so many goldfish, I figured I'd use them to test out the waters, test out the parameters. And it seems like things are back and normal where they should be. And haven't had any issues with them, and they've actually been growing pretty good. And down underneath them is a community tank that will never stay clean or clear because I have Geophagus in there. These are the Geophagus winter milleri, which that's what they're supposed to be. I do not think that's what they are, though. A mix of a few. There's hatchetfish in here. There's pandagars in there. I think there's a roseline barb in there somewhere. Maybe a big rainbow fish. Man, that hatchet fish is ginormous. Probably the biggest one, but they just come out of the green water here. Because these guys, the Geophagus, are always kicking stuff up. And in a no filter tank, if you got a fish that kicks the substrate up, it can be really hard to keep it clean and clear. Then next to them, I got Synodontis lucipennis, which you can see a big one back there. There's only a few in here. A lot of them are smaller and they tend to hide in the rock. And being daytime, we probably won't see them. We might see them in this 125 behind me. Next to them is another dwarf neon rainbow fish tank. This is my community breeder, and once in a while I just pull little babies out there. But as far as all these 75s, I probably want to redo them at some point, especially whenever I remove the wall. They're definitely going to be forced into redos. Which I've loved tanks here and there with this, but it never really settled how I wanted to because all the light from the tanks behind it, plus the door light and all the rest of the lights that hit it, it's just an absolute algae magnet. In this wall, you guys can see here the Dawkinsia mascara barbs that just went running. This is the rest of the tanks. So there's the 55s on the sides, and on that bottom tank, which I didn't mention, there's a bunch of those endler or rainbow fish shouldn't exist. That is a Glossolepis dohertyi though, and a regular species. But the other ones, they kind of look like Cali rums, but I don't think they are. Starting on this backside here, I've got this rack that I've got all these containers, and it was going to be for fry and separations of killifish and a bunch of other stuff. But I think, once again, I want to move this out. I want to put like 20-gallon highs and maybe some 125s, and then have these 75s as the end caps. And if I could have 3 more racks of something like that, that would, like, this would be equivalent to one of those racks. I could get so many more tanks that I could really utilize and use right now, which would make the world of difference to me. But underneath them is a 75-gallon, and it's kind of a hodgepodge community. I've got swordtails in there, I've got black mollies in there, I've got danios in there, endlers in there. There's random killifish. There might even be a shelly still in here. Actually a real neat tank in person. And then these 20 gallons here, they are kind of more of my overflow. So here I've got baby synergos in there, melanitania, I've got dwarf neons in here. You can see I need to consolidate a lot too. But I want to organize before I consolidate. We've got the Matano rice fish, a bunch of those. I believe this is a hodgepodge. It got a dwarf neon rainbow fish in it and Matano rice fish. This is a knife Livebearer. This is a bit different type of fish that you won't normally see. And let alone see them with that much color on them. Usually when you'll see these anywhere, they'll be silver looking. This is a Livebearer. I thought they had a real neat shape to them, something different. Kind of like a rice fish, but Livebearer looking. It's odd. So, I had to get them. It was one of those ALA, AKA conventions. Couldn't help myself. And then up underneath them, I have the fire red shrimp. Tons of fire red shrimp. All 3 tanks. All the way down. And then we've got the swamp picked up. But look at that female. Like, I really wish I could have got them to breed, because, I mean, I've got the genetics and know how to have made some really cool ones, but they just have not been prolific at all. And then the next 2 tanks are empty. These used to have Matano rice fish. This had my cardinals in them. I had to put them outside for a breeding project. And then underneath them, baby Matano rice fish. The next 2 tanks. And then we've got some Mastiacho, or however you pronounce her name, tetras. These are some rare tetras here. They like to hide back and wait for the food to come. Come on, guys, show yourself. You know it's about feeding time. Guys, you don't feed me. Would like to try to breed these at some point, but I've had these forever. These actually came from the old house. And then next to them, in the next 3 tanks, are my yellow neocardinas. I'm just full of guppy grass. Crap. So there we have it, the lab section. Moving on to this back wall here, the cichlid section. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and dive into these 125s in the pond. Starting off with this front 125, I got this rare Molmanni crib, which I don't really offer on the website just because it's too big to put in a box. I also got some of those Rainbow Tiger Endler 2.0s with some Synodontis lucipennis in here. And then one of my favorite tanks right now, the 125 next to them, is loaded up with these trout goodeids. And I got some moss in there, floating some plants. But I'm absolutely loving this. The front of it is completely filthy, so can't get a real good look. Next to them, I've got these Fire Red Neocaradinas. Now these are a specific special line I've been kind of working on. Next to them is a bunch of baby goldfish. So where I've been getting all these baby goldfish that you guys have been seeing has been coming from this pond here. So I put in here a couple goldfish. You can see the parents. And they've just been eating everything in here and leaving me babies within this guppy grass. So I'll go through there, pull a few out. Actually, there you can see a nice gold size, or a nice big size one. I don't get many of the smaller ones now because of this. I do need to reset it and get all those like bigger, smaller ones out. But this is where all those babies have been coming from. And this is a 470-gallon Boswell pond. Supposed to be temporary. I've had this about 3 years. Eventually, I would love to do something more permanent here and not have it so hodgepodge, more aesthetic. And then for the big cichlid wall, where I actually went 4 high on 40 gallons, which these tanks hardly ever get used for anything, just because I organize it as such. But I've got some clown killies in here, which are just straggling around. I was thinking about removing them and do something different. I wanted to focus more on plants in here. I'm not seeing the clown killies right now, bro. There's only like 2 or 3 in there. They hide pretty good, and they're not very big. This one I was hoping to get some Melena pygmy babies out of, but I think they're infertile, so I did not get any babies from them. So these 40 gallons actually get utilized a lot for just throwing stuff in and hoping to breed them, or just doing this and that in, or grow out, because 40 gallons are great for grow out too. And of those trout goodeids you've seen, now there doesn't look like there's much in this tank, but there's actually 60 trout goodeid babies at least within this tank. But it looks like nothing. Looks like there's like hardly anything. Then I've got the red koi Dumbo babies, albino rice fish tank. I was hoping to get some babies out of those, but for some reason my albino rice fish are such a pain to breed. They do not want to. Red koi rice, or red koi guppies. We've got the bluegrass guppies, but they're also throwing the reds. That's why you never really see me offer them much, because I mean, I guess that's going to happen with most bluegrass and red grass lines. So it shouldn't be a shock that they don't run straight. Some blue tiger guppies, not a whole lot going on there. They haven't been real prolific. And we got more of the bluegrass next to them. Then up above, we got the Juliachromis marleri. And next to them, there's actually a Juliachromis marleri in there because they had jumped out. Here in the back, you can see a bunch of Florida flagfish grouped up. That's a native killifish, actually one of my favorite fish. And I accidentally bred most of those. That marleri's got them grouped up and out of those rocks. Black and yellow guppy. These females get a lot of color to them. Males actually stay really small. So sometimes I'll get real female heavy with these. Then next to them, we've got the Jesus Marie Livebearer, which they look all spotted when they're younger. As they grow out, they get these like metallic sheen, beautiful, beautiful colors on them. They're also known as like a sparkling Livebearer. I think they look cool even when they're young. Next to them is the original female Marleri. As much as I wish I could put her with the rest, it would just cause potential for too much inbreeding. I'd like to find her a home. And then here I got another pair. It's more like the backup pair after a couple generations of lining them up with the Juliachromis Marleri. And then currently this 40-gallon is empty. And I may put a rainbow fish in there soon to breed out. We'll see. When I breed, I like to have time to focus on it, because sometimes I can end up breeding a bunch of stuff and not having the right time to focus on it, and just doesn't really do me much good because I just won't get much out of it. But over here next to them, I've got the steak endlers. Look at those. Those are beautiful. Quite a nice colony going right now. Next to them, I've got a hodgepodge of community fish that I like. Those are the cardinals I was telling you about that I had moved out. Got the red coral pencil fish there. Got the gold ring danios. There's a purple hatchet fish. And above them is some of the albino rice fish that I was talking about. These guys are such a pain to breed. And that one's goofy. And then in this 40-gallon next to them, there's actually a couple goldfish in here. They're probably up in the guppy grass. We're not going to see them. And we got some pygmy loaches, one of my favorite, the chain loaches. Definitely onto my breeding project at some point, but there's not a whole lot of information on breeding them. And more of the all other color guppies. And then these 20-gallon highs next to them, we've got more of the red bluegrass genetics. And then one of these daffodil, one of these Burchardi cichlids that are next to them had jumped in, which is a big colony of these. I got to get these actually out and moved because there's just too many in there right now. And more blue tigers, dark half moon guppy that really never turned out much. More of the bluegrass. These are probably the best bluegrass here that I have. But, you know, they're getting old. These are the originals. And then I've got more of the black and yellow guppies. You can see how this tank is just so much cleaner compared to the tank next to it. A lot of it's the guppy grass and over whatever's on the front of the glass. I haven't had time to really clean up, and when the humidity gets real bad in here, it does that, which sometimes can make it hard to see. But if we look up here, is the Glossolepis wanamensis here, which I didn't even plan on breeding these, but somebody gave them to me at the Aquatic Expo in the Carolinas this year, and I just could not help but breed them because they're not that common. And then the other two are empty, and I think I may use these for breeding rainbows projects here in the future. And last but not least, over here on my desk, I've got some blue galars killifish, which now that I've got my dedicated killifish area, I may turn this into an aquascape tank. Because as much as I try to breed these guys, I really don't put the time in like I should. But once again, I've only got so much time in a day, so I've got to prioritize priorities. And there's a lot of things for me to do here. And if there's one common theme you'll see is I need to consolidate a lot of these tanks. And I need to get my water changes going again and really clean them up. There's a lot of potential in here, and I think it still looks great. There's still a lot. I mean, with natural aquariums, they're not always all going to be perfect all the time. It doesn't happen that way. But I got plenty of clean, clear tanks and lots going on in here. So this fish room's been years in the making, and we're still just getting organized and working it out. Rome wasn't built overnight. It takes time. That's how we learn the most. And I'm excited for what this is all about to become, because once I do get organized, it's going to be awesome. Which it already is, but more awesome. And this fish room would have been a lot different and more organized if I actually had the money to do it like off the bat. But I have had to work and build all this up from pretty much nothing, and has taken me quite some time. So, you know, it was done a little bit differently, but that's actually where I learned so much from. And as far as my outdoor stuff, I've got quite a bit going on out here. Working on building more, hopefully get this done sooner than later. But we'll go ahead and run through it real quick. You see I've got these posts going up here. This is the build I'm talking about that's gonna expand out and around towards the other side of the barn. I'm gonna do more of these tubs. These are 110 gallon tubs. I believe these are like 30 gallons. I can't remember. But I got them from Tractor Supply last year. Pretty good deal. And they've been working out really good. I drilled holes in them so the overflow comes out. Big reason why I'm building this thing around here is because of these dragonfly larvae. They're not the best for breeding and getting good numbers out of fish without having to really work for it. But these tubs are actually full of rice fish right now. You can see a bunch of baby fry here. These bins are actually mostly full of baby rice fish right now. Like there's baby platinum Madeca rice fish in there. A bigger one I try to separate the bigger ones from the smaller ones so they don't predate too much. This one's full of King Yama rice fish. Or no, those are the red tiger rice fish. And we got the black orochis in here. You can see them a little bit over there. They're getting a little bit of size to them. This is actually the Jesus Marie Livebearer, which there you can see them kind of flying around. But they have gotten big out here. And then we've got the King Yamas in here. You can see them floating around here and there. Same thing, King Yamas in there. This one actually had the younger ones. Little babies. So that wasn't even the breeding group. That was from another breeding group that had raised up, and then they still left me some babies. Then in here I've got more of the Jesus Marie. And over here I've got some rice fish I've been working on. Little line. It's got black and white. I call them like cow print rice fish. I don't really have a name for them or no name for them. But this was one of their first broods. Looks like there might be a little copper there coming out of them. But for the most part, I'm always trying to save a bug out here for some reason. Hey, little fella. But anyways, a lot of them look pretty good and like their parents, which their parents are right over here. And that plant in there, that's actually pearlweed. There is the male. Where's your, oh no, is she down? She passed. Oh no. Well, this is why it's important to do what I do and get them bred and have the babies out, because you just never know when their lifespan will be done. But what happened there? That's crazy. That sucks to find. So that's why it makes it hard to be able to sell those genetics if I'm not really getting a whole bunch out of them yet. But I've got to move that male now and get him out before he predates on what eggs are in there. So let me do that real quick. Well, there is a third female in there, but either way I need to move them. So I did have 3 in there. I thought I did have 3, but that pearlweed's so thick. And still see if I get babies out of them. I need to do that sooner than later. And that's why getting this build and protection around this stuff is so important, because you never know. Dragonfly larvae could be living in there. Now I could come out here at night and hopefully catch them and find them, but I've got to secure and make it safer for my babies. After checking her out, she's actually got babies, so I'm not gonna disturb her. She's got eggs, so rice fish carry the eggs on the back behind of themselves, and then they'll scatter it in the plants. So with her holding eggs, I'm not gonna move her yet. I'm gonna give her some time, let her plant the eggs around, and then I'll move her. All right, now back to it here. So next to them, I've got these cool little like gold dust. I call them my gold dust Madecas. I think I'll find them. They had this gold glitter gene to them. Oh, come on, don't be so skittish. But these guys are a prize right now as far as their genetics. Got 3 of them in here. There's a little glimpse. Come on, you guys. They're gonna be so hard to see. But I'll be showing these guys more in the future here. Those guys are really cool. And next to them, I've got the albino rice fish, which these guys should be ready to pull here soon. Next to them is some baby mixed ones. Looks like there is a bunch of mosquito larvae in there. This was from some randoms that have that gold genetic in them. So just seeing what comes out of there. And then next to them, I've just got a bunch of baby red tiger rice fish growing out in here as well. But I'm about to reorganize things out here to make it more efficient. This is just how it's been running. This was my first year outside, where I'm at now. So I was learning a lot from the area, from doing it raw just like this without anything extra. A lot of people ask why I don't use nets over it. I don't want to deal with nets. I don't want to see nets. Like, it's so much better to just have it open. But it comes with the price of letting dragonfly larvae and stuff like that in. But next to them, I've got platinum blue rice fish. Platinum blue rice fish. This is actually a tricolor. Oh, that's what those are. Those are tricolor. I do ride them. So like the tricolor Nugeka strain. These are also randoms. These are random rice fish babies. Oh, these guys are cool, and they're right up top. These are like my black red caps. So they have these orange heads. Oh man, I can't even see if you guys can see them or not. Oh, there they are. The sun's so bright on my camera. But these have orange heads, glitter genes. Look at all those eggs behind her. Really neat pair. So I know I haven't really been offering much for rice fish, but there's a reason for that, is because I'm working on trying to line things out and really deepen genetics, which these red tigers, that line is actually pretty solid, pretty nice. Those are one of the breeding groups. And here I've got the Montioensis rice fish, which we saw those in the fish room. There's one right down there. Bigger rice fish from Indonesia. Actually do really well here with all the warm water. And then this one has some randoms. This one has some random lines growing out. This one has like my pale ones that were more like grayish color, but I was actually getting some neat genetics from them, which they are in here now. You can see them grouped up, more silver there, just more of a gray. Man, she is carrying a ton of eggs. But next to them is a pair that I got out of there. Oh, there they are too, right at the top. So these are a pair that I got out of there. They have like this really blue sheen to them. It's not like the platinum, but the other one's got a little gold on them. But the glitter, the shine on these guys is absolutely amazing. And she is holding a ton of eggs. I don't know how well the camera is doing. I hope it's doing it justice. What? That rice fish was not dead. There's 3 of them. Now I look back here. That one was still alive. Oh my gosh. See, freaked out for nothing. She looked dead though. You guys saw her. Didn't she look dead? What the heck? But next to them that I was just showing you are some of the King Llama babies. They're getting a little size to them. Which here are the parents, the King Llamas. The colors on those are the blood red, so it's like a really, really vibrant orange. Another group of them. And then I've mixed the genetics of certain ones, so I've got babies of those in here. A lot of mixed genetics in here. Just gonna see what we come out with. So that does it for the middle section here. And off into these back ponds, I've got the Dalmatian mollies that I used to have in my paludarium. You can see there's a few little babies swimming there. But it was such a really nice pair. I put my best pair in there to breed out. You can see the male there in the middle. I'll put them out here because they did well out here last year. And looks like they got babies. They're happy already. And here, platinum rice fish. Got a little colony going in there. Actually community bred a lot, which was good to see because they haven't really done that much for me out here as far as community breeding. And then more platinum rice fish in there. We got the King Llamas over there with the red Vallisneria going on, which is just regular Val, just colored up like that. Down here in the middle is a golden wonder killifish. So I was hoping to breed them out here, but the female, she is no longer with us, unfortunately. I don't know if he did something or what happened, but she is no longer with us, unfortunately. Man, those are cool. Sorry, just realized it was getting windy out here. I grabbed the mic for you guys. But most of these small tubs here, these are all empty, but the bigger tubs are holding the rice fish. So we had the King Llamas over here. We got more of the King Llamas. You can see them down there. Breeding groups. Then over here we've got the Red Tiger breeding group. And next to them we've got the Black Orochi breeding group. And next to them we've got the randoms, the randos. This is where I get some of the really cool genetics I can get to mix with and play around. Which I plan on focusing on doing more of. I just need to protect everybody first. I actually been throwing a lot of my predatory bugs in here. Whoa, look at that fuzzy spider. Oh man, that jumping spider. Just missed him. He was cool. That was one of those big jumping fuzzy spiders. Anyways, but most of these other little tubs are empty over here besides my tricolors that I'm working on. I've got these really cool tricolor rice fish. Check those out. Lookers. So these are probably one of my most prized genetics. Besides that gold dust and then the other one that I pulled out of those randoms. And I've got more of them over next to them too. So I've got a couple groups of the tricolor I'm trying to work on. We'll see who does best for what they actually breed out. But these are all going to be timed. And then I've got more platinum rice fish next to them. Some of the younger groups. So, you know, this is a process. Instead of just like pumping them and dumping them, I'm taking my time. And it's going to take time to really work out these genetics and get some really cool rice fish. That does it for these tubs. And you do see these tanks over here. Eventually, I will get my tanks up off the ground and into this area as well. Then I've got a pond out here, a little pond, which this is where I did my barb breeding, where I'll do my bigger egg scatter breeding. I've got this custom built cage in here. And right now, frogs have actually taken over it. But it's like 13 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. And then also I've got this fire pit out here. And this was my first pond that I had going. And where I originally had my blood king yamas. Which I did take my breeder king yamas out of this pond in hopes to have some babies. I did see some babies in there, but I'm not. Oh, there's one. There's one down there. But they hide real well in here. So this was actually my first pond out here with just a little piece of liner. Tiny little pond. It's probably about, say it's 6 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot. Then I've got these longer strip ponds here, which frogs have been trying to take over them. The first one here has trout gutiids in it. Nothing in this second one yet. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to put in there. I was thinking goldfish maybe. And then this one had some black rice fish. And I did end up pulling the breeders out because I'm going to organize rice fish differently. I don't know what I'm going to put in here. Maybe angelfish or something. I don't know. I've got options though, so that's good. This was the old trout gutiid pond, which they did really well. Caught them all out of there. I think there may be one in there, and unfortunately can't get them. But there's actually blue glar's killifish, hopefully still in there. But this pond is really cool because I put some of my natural plants just a little bit here on the side. And the way that this has been growing out in a marsh, so if I was a killifish, this is probably where I would be living and hanging out, into that section. And there was a lot of shrimp in here, but ever since I added the killifish, there's a lot less shrimp. These things are like yellow highlighter green looking. Look at those shrimp. Really cool. Now I did try to bring these inside to see if they would stay like that, but they didn't. But the coloration, oh my god, so beautiful. And then behind them I got these tanks here, which this was the best or easiest aquascape, where I took the shovels of dirt and put them into a tank and made a real nice aquascape out of it. I mean, I got to clean the glass, but I'm not that worried about it. I'm giving you guys the dirty tour once again. Here are the roachies. Some of my black rice fish with the dwarf sage growing out. Really beautiful tank. Love how that turned out. Then next to them, I've got babies of those. Empty tank. That one's got black orochi babies in it. And a cool little marginal plant. That does it for those tanks, which bring us to this aquarium garden, which most of these are actually empty right now because I'm hoping to get these picked up and put into that area that I built. But down here in the 75s are those Mexican Livebearers that I've had out here pretty much almost since I've begun with these, which they are all hiding like crazy. Come on out, guys. Oh, there's a cherry shrimp in there. Oh, there they are. There we go. Now we can see them. But yeah, I want glass tanks outside so I'll be able to see my fish better. Get these up off the ground. We won't have that glare. And I'll actually be able to show you guys like things I've been doing out here a lot better. But some of these tanks, I mean, they got to a point where since I don't have nothing in there, I'm just kind of letting them really go all out, not even putting water into them. Just look at these little foresty eco terrarium systems. Like, in my opinion, this is kind of cool because the bioactivity already, and I don't know, kind of creates its own little environment. And I do got a tank too with a cattail growing out of it. So a cattail has naturally grown in and out of one of those tanks. And a couple of these tanks actually do house Daphnia that I do keep up for backups. Just in case one day I just don't have my Daphnia. But that does it for the outdoor section. And hopefully we can get this thing built sooner than later. And I will need your guys' help and support to do so. So if you want to help and support, check out lrbaquatics.com. We got lots of homebred, homegrown things. And if you just want to support, there's a tip jar as well. And maybe you're a fish business and you want to be advertised on the channel, let me know. Maybe we can work out something and we could add your guys' name. Sort of like that. We can go from there. And yes, I do have aquariums here in the house as well as plants. Because, you know, got to have something to do while I'm at home. But over here, I've got a rack of 20-gallon highs. These are going to be my in and out quarantine racks whenever I get like groups of fish or something like that. Right now, I've currently got these angelfish, panda looking ones, red koi looking ones. And then down here, I've got some yellow pygmy. This is a native fish. It's a yellow pygmy killifish. Kind of a unique little nano fish. And next to them, I have another pair of those. So I'll probably go ahead and try to breed these at some point. Then I've got a bunch of frog bit. Meow, hey kitty. And I got a cat. Those tanks are ready for the in and out of just fish coming from like club meetings and going into the barn or sharing with you guys. And then that's what this rack is for too, my fancier rack, which all I did was stain the wood instead of just paint it black. But starting down here, I actually got a ton of calico bristlenose. I think there's about 50 calico bristlenose babies in there. Some of them have the long fins on it. And that's in a 10-gallon, no filter. Then up above them, we've got the white lace guppies. We saw those in the fish room. They just kept breeding, so I kept them in here. Holy cow, look at that female. Look at that, most of the females. Lots of color on them. Oh, and you can see I've got mosses and other things, you know, gotta quarantine your plants. Then up above them, I've been keeping this colony for quite some time. These are the tiger teddies. These are the tiniest little fish. Man, they're aggressive. I've been actually hoarding these guys for quite some time, trying to get them to really grow out. Now, being a peaceful fish, you wouldn't think they'd be so aggressive, but they're really battling it out for dominance. Old female right there just egging it on. Wildebeest. And then next to them, I've got these mixed endlers and guppies because, you know, I just can't help myself. Even have them here in the house. Then up underneath them, the tank's a little dirty because I was catching fish out of it. I'm actually shooting this on a Thursday. I ship on Wednesdays. This has Chilnothernia alaniz, which usually they got more color on them. Maybe they're still a little spooked from yesterday, so they washed out a little bit. But I actually got these from a buddy. He shipped them to me. He's helped supporting that build that I'm doing. Kerry Britton, thank you. I'll also have Hailstream loaches in with these alani, which, you know, I was planning on breeding them because I used to, but I forgot how hard they are to catch. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna mess with them now. And also, if I know somebody and they have good fish, I usually do like a 50-50 with them. So I have some of his alani straggled back here. And then I've got some axolotls. Check out that chunker. I swear they get bigger every day. And I got these at the club meeting. And you know, a couple of them were actually missing their arms when I got them. And it is true, they do regrow their arms back. Because I think that one only had like one arm when I got it. Most of its arms were gone. Pretty crazy. And then that tank's empty. Actually just pulled out my San Marcos Eisenai out of there. There's some fire red shrimp in there, but that was mostly axolotl food at one point. And then up above here is some of the babies of the white lace guppies. You can see they're starting to grow out. Get their colors out and about. I think there may be a pseudomugule root 2 in there somewhere. Then above them, I have a group of rainbow tiger endlers, which I picked most of them out. But look at the colors on those. The one's still trying to get its color, the younger ones. Then that's where I got my duckweed, my one tank of duckweed. And then next to them, these are actually only 5 gallons. These are 10 gallons and those are 20 gallons. And these are 5 gallons. But up here, I got some Bloody Marys, which I've been wanting a line of these for quite some time. Just haven't had the money or time to really focus on them. But Daku had a nice line and had to get some. And up underneath them is some steak endlers. These are actually all just males. I just happen to have like so many males and not as many females. And then there's a goofy bent back rainbow fish. He's looking good now though. I don't know. When I saw him the other day, he looked bent, so I put him in here. He looks fine now. I don't know. But I gotta find these steak endlers some new homes. Definitely for sure. Which I need to upgrade and update the website with a lot of these. It's just, it takes time. Because there's not just one, there's not just two. We gotta make the listings and all that. But I will be doing that soon for you guys. And then there's some random guppies in there because this one male, this is how it happens, is I'll get this like one crazy beautiful male. Look at that guy with that purple on him, pink with the long fins. He's a stunner. And then he's with black and yellow tuxedo females. I just get curious. I want to see what they do, how the genetics pass. Then up underneath them is where I had my golden wonder killifish quarantining. That's why the water is halfway low. I don't know if they left any eggs in here or not, but just in case they did, I've been leaving it empty. So that does it for that section. And in our living room is our centerpiece, triple paludarium. So this is a 40-gallon, 60-gallon, and another 40-gallon. And with this, we've been keeping some rice fish, been breeding them back and forth. We had some Dalmatian mollies, but this is where we've been testing a lot of the house plants out with aquariums and seeing how they interact and what we could do, what we could build. All pretty much maintenance free. And you can see the ring on the tanks here, which they just need a top off. Now the only thing I do maintenance wise is topping off. So after I do top off, well, besides wipe the glass. So usually when I top off, it splatters, I wipe the glass so it just stays nice and clean and doesn't get the water hard spots. But that's it. I haven't water changed it, nothing. And it's just, I'm absolutely loving it. Every time I come in, sit down, it's like, this is phenomenal. But it just goes to show, like, you can keep easy systems. I do got full build videos of it. So the thumbnail says the beginning. We started off with just tiny little cuttings. We gave it time. We didn't try to do like everything at once. And that's what aquariums are. Like, they take time if you really want them to be great. And then in Lady LRB's plant room, which we also got videos of that as well. She's got a couple of aquariums in here because I just had a couple of spares sitting around and wanted to give her something to play with. So she's been putting house plants in them. Got half water. Like I mentioned, we got a tour video of this plant room that we just recently did as well, and she talks all about it. Like, that one's just got just the smallest bit of water, like the shallowest part of a creek in a forest somewhere. It's just like a slice of it. I absolutely love it. But she's been doing some cool things in here. Trying to get her to make more videos, but she's a busy woman. And in here I have what looks to be like bedded containers, but they're actually for killifish. And yes, I know those look pretty gnarly. They have no fish in them. These are the new ones. Being right up against the window, it's bound to happen. I actually should move all these. But currently, right now, there's a lot of killifish in here. For instance, here's a pair of Australian orange. They're probably going to be hard to see because of the lighting. You can kind of get a gist. There's a lot of color on that fish. And the female is with him, so sometimes I do go ahead and keep them paired up. Sometimes I separate them out. But I do this mostly just to keep killifish in the hobby and help you guys be able to get them, because you can't just go to Petco or PetSmart to get these strains. At least usually. Sometimes some of them will come into the store, but a lot of the time, a lot of the strains do not at all, ever. And there is some real beauts. I do got some guppies that are being quarantined from a show that I went and did. And I want to make sure, you know, they come out all right before I put them back into my tanks. So there's a lot of safeguards I do to help make sure what's in the barn doesn't get anything that I don't want in there. Now, before I feed everybody, last but not least, we got the axolotl tank and a couple other tanks in my son's room. This is a no-filter axolotl tank. I keep a lot of shrimp in here. You can actually see a shrimp right in front of that guy. It makes for a good live food source. But these guys have been here quite some time. We're gonna upgrade them into one of those 125s you guys saw. And then I had this 40 in my bedroom for a while, quarantining, had the space in here. And I'm gonna use this tank, grow out these platies for Wesley. But we're gonna do like a little 50-50. So whatever we grow out in his tanks, we'll sell, and then half of it will go towards him. This way I can teach him about making money and kind of what I do and get him more interested in it. And the actual last tank that we're coming up with is the Oscar tank. So I've got an albino Oscar in here, and then also have a regular black one. I don't know where he's at right now, but the albino one has gotten huge. Now Oscars are such dirty eaters, so they are trickier with the no filter situation, because they express a lot of that food out of their gills. But you can do it, it is just a little trickier. Now if I would have scraped this tank, it would look so much better as far as like the front glass. It is bright. You see. And here's the darker one, which is hard to see through the glass. But I'm pretty sure that big one bullies this little one, so luckily they have a lot of separation in here and can get away from each other. But there's definitely a alphabetic thing going on here. And something's got him scared because he's not eating. And if you guys kept Oscars, they're always trying to eat. Oh, there he goes. Just worried about the other guy. And we do have 5 pretty good sized natural ponds on the property as well, which we just keep these natural. We keep these like our little nature preserves. We do have alligators in here. We got bass, we got brim, we've got little killifish, pygmy sunfish, all kinds of stuff. Ducks, the birds that come out here. It's really neat. There's also freshwater shrimp in here that I would love to get into the fish room at some point when I can focus on more of that stuff. I would like to have more of a natural aquarium, but that would come with another barn because I just don't have space for a tank for that yet. One day, hopefully. So that does it for the fish room tour and all my aquariums. I know you guys been wanting this for a while. You can see I've been building on that project. So if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that would help me get this going and get more out for you guys. There's my little baby. Hey, Squirby. Yeah. You get that grass. Get that grass.